My son is diagnosed with autism and he's 19 years old. And something that continues to surprise me in this life alongside autism is that the grief never quite goes away.
Hey special family, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Autism Mom, and on this channel we talk about autism and everything in between. Today we're doing another fair use reaction video. Let's take a look at the video.
My son is diagnosed with autism and he's 19 years old. And something that continues to surprise me in this life alongside autism is that the grief never quite goes away. It gets a lot easier, absolutely, but there's still moments where I feel kind of this sharp sting. And I think of it as heartbreak by 1,000 paper cuts. Just today, I was driving through town and there was a group of kids Jack's age by the basketball courts, kind of fooling around and joking and teasing each other and bouncing a ball. All things that don't come easily to my son. And in those moments, I just can't help wonder who he might have been if things had turned out differently. Autism, heartache by 1,000 paper cuts.
So this video was taken from this amazing creator on Instagram. Go ahead and give her a follow. She is so thoughtful when she makes her videos. She says things that'll make you think. Autism. Pain by 1,000 paper cuts. We as special needs parents see grief differently. Having grief doesn't mean we don't love our child, our children. Grieving doesn't mean that they are who they are. We can't change that. But we can't help as parents to think what they would have been like, or what would they be doing, what would their interests be if autism wasn't the case, especially if they have cousins, brothers, sisters, or peers the same age as them, and you see things that come normal to them, but it doesn't come normal to your child. It doesn't come simple to your child, and you can't help but wonder, what would it have been like? Why do you think that we as special needs parents say we're afraid to die? We're afraid to die because we want the next person to treat our kid the way we would treat our kid, and we just know that's not going to happen. In most cases, it doesn't happen. Maybe there are a few lucky ones, but in most cases, it doesn't. What if he would have been okay and I can just go in peace knowing that my son's going to be fine? What if? So yeah, the grief never goes away. We always will be thinking, what if it wasn't this way? Would things be different? What would his interests be? What would he like? Some of our legacy ends with our special need kids, because some of us have decided not to have any more kids because the toll that this takes on you as parents. You would just do the other kids a disadvantage in our head. You know, that's how we think. That's how I think. I'll speak for me. I would do that child a disadvantage because this child needs all my time and attention. What if I had more and my legacy went on? You never know. Maybe my son will have kids. But what if I didn't have to wonder? First commenter says, "Oh my God, you view your son as a victim. Stop it. He's unique, beautiful in his own right. Love him for what he is not, what you want him to be. I am autistic. I have 4 children who are also neurodivergent, and every single one of them is a bloody gift. I am so grateful my parents did not see me as a victim." And this is the backlash that always comes with a parent just having the simple thought of, what if my child didn't have all these issues? I will be at ease knowing he's going to be okay if anything happened to me. What if he didn't have all these issues? What would his interest be? Why is it wrong to wonder. My son is who he is. I love him how he is. But that doesn't stop me from wondering. Neither can you. Somebody else responded. I didn't interpret it that way at all. Did not sound to me like she was saying her son is a victim. Just talking about her own personal sadness about things that are either challenging, keyword challenging, or maybe unavailable to her son. How can you judge someone else's feelings and comment on them negatively? Those are her feelings. After all, why judge? My son is 22, autistic, nonverbal, unable to dress himself, bathe himself, wears a pull-up and is showered with love by his family. He's perfect in our eyes, but I am also overcome with grief and sadness, fear at the thought of not being here for him one day. Same thing I said. At the thought of someone not being gentle or kind while taking care of him. At the thought of him not being cherished and loved. And even at the horrifying thought of him possibly being abused, which is a very real possibility. Preach, lady. You don't know what anyone else's situation is. I love her comment. She hit every point. Next commenter. You put it so well. That's exactly what it is. We continuously mourn the life our child might have had. Next commenter. Yesterday I took our son to the playground in our neighborhood and there were kids around his age, 9 and some younger. The younger kid kept asking other kids why does he run with us but never talk and why is he singing. That broke my heart into a million pieces to see my son following his peers but unable to communicate like them. May Allah guide all autism parents and their kids to where they want to be. Amen. Next commenter. My son was 4 when he was diagnosed. 30 years later, 3 of my friends are mourning the death of their neurotypical sons who were the same age as my son. They were wonderful young men who died from overdose. My now 34-year-old son is happy and thriving, doing his thing. None of this is fair. Motherhood never escapes heartbreak. It's motherhood. Your child doesn't have to be neurodivergent for you to worry. Next commenter, and this is a bit of a long one. Don't do that to yourself. That is the way he was made. It's not going to happen, so the sting will fade when you can look at that group of teens hanging out and not compare them to Jack. Never. That sting will never fade. Practice radical acceptance for you and for him. That pain sounds awful. He's standing right there with you. Someone else responded, no one should be telling other people how to grieve. You are not living their life. It's the people who push down their grief and don't acknowledge it that have more difficulties through the years than people who are aware of and work with their grief. Amen. Also, each stage of life brings a new grief. Tell them. For example, my dad died when I was 12. I worked through it, but grief when he didn't walk me down the aisle, when he didn't get to meet each of my children. The sting fades, but returns. I like that one. The sting fades, but it returns over and over. Every stage, it comes back. Someone else responded, this is especially not okay to say because some children have regressive autism and were a completely different child for the first 15 months of their lives. Mine used to talk, disappeared, all gone. Many of us feel like something took our child and left us with only a percentage of them left. Preach. Never tell another person how to grieve. You never know another person's battle. Let me know in the comment section below if you're grieving. You're not grieving because you don't love your child. You're not grieving because your child is autistic. You're grieving because what if he didn't have to be? What would his interest be? What would he like? What if you can die knowing he will be taken care of, or he can take care of himself? He will be okay. You know, those are things we can't just make disappear. So let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.